Hello and welcome to this all about Broken Railroad guide video. In this video, I will be going over some information to help you get familiar with the Broken Railroad region in the Long Dark. I'll be going over things like base options, the wildlife, transition zones, exploring the region, and much more. Feel free to check out the timestamps in the description to jump to the information you need. A very brief background. Broken Railroad was the 7th main region released for the Long Dark. It is one of the smaller regions, with relatively milder weather compared to some others, but plenty of wildlife to fill it up. The railway track runs through the region, being connected from Forlorn Muskeg. It is home to one of the 4 forges in Great Bear, as well as the peaceful hunting lodge. With the Tales DLC, it also is the gateway to the Far Territories, connecting to the Far Range branch line. Map overview. Broken Railroad is a small-ish region where the train tracks continue to run through it. It's quite an enclosed region, not much large open spaces and lots of trees. The kind of central area contains the maintenance yard, which takes up quite a big area, and the frozen lake and foresty surroundings. There is a higher plateau where the hunting lodge is located that overlooks lower area. It also has a lower ravine area which provides some loot, so the region is quite multi-leveled terrain. Base options. The maintenance shed. The maintenance shed is a potential base option. It has a workbench, forge, beds, storage, and plenty of materials you can break down as well. The outside office part provides a good spot for combating cabin fever as it is not considered an interior and acts like a cave. The trader's radio is also located here. Be careful during an aurora because there are many electrical cables laying around inside which can injure or even kill you. The hunting lodge. The hunting lodge is the more cozy base option. Great benefits include that it has a 6-burner stove, a workbench, beds, and also plenty of materials to break down. There are also cars outside if you need to combat cabin fever, and wildlife is abundant nearby for food sources, as well as adding a bit of a challenge too. Transition zones. Transition zones are locations in a main region which will let you move into a different region. Broken Railroad is a main region and it transitions to 2 areas, or actually only one if you don't have the DLC. Number 1. At one end of the train track through a rail tunnel, this leads to Forlorn Muskeg, most likely where you will have entered the region unless you spawned here specifically or spawned in the Far Territories if you have the DLC. Number 2. At the other end of the train tracks, also through a rail tunnel, you will head to the Far Range branch line, which leads you further into the Far Territories region. As mentioned, this is only if you have the DLC. Prepper cache. There is no prepper cache located in Broken Railroad. Facilities. When it comes to facilities in Broken Railroad, you will find a workbench and forge at the maintenance shed. In the basement of the hunting lodge, there is also a workbench. Cooking-wise, the hunting lodge provides a 6-burner stove and a fireplace with 2 cooking spots. There is a fire barrel inside the maintenance shed providing 2 cooking slots, and of course you can always use a campfire. While there is no fishing hut located here, you can still fish here by creating a fishing hole and using a fishing tip-up, but just be warned, it's a bit risky as there's quite a lot of wildlife around the frozen lake. Loot. Both the maintenance shed and hunting lodge provide a good amount of loot. Of course, this varies depending on the difficulty you're playing. In maintenance shed, you have a chance to find items such as a heavy hammer, hacksaw, revolver, skill books, clothing, cured leather, and much more. As well, there's a lot of items to break down for materials, crates for reclaimed wood, and plenty of cloth, and even metal items for scrap metal. Don't forget as well, you can sometimes move or break down these crates and find some valuable items underneath. At the hunting lodge, there is a potential to find a rifle, revolver, and both kinds of ammo, as well as medical supplies, plenty of food, and there's also plenty of items you can break down here too for scrap metal, reclaimed wood, and cloth. You might also find a climbing rope here, which was useful as there's a climbing spot right nearby. Just be warned that bear can roam around right at the bottom of the climb. Speaking of climbing ropes, all the climbing spots in Broken Railroad do not have a rope deployed by default, so you'll find these ropes in a few places such as the hunting lodge or the maintenance shed. In Broken Railroad, there is also another climbing spot which will lead you down into this small ravine. There are quite a few items you can find down here, including a rifle and ammo. There are normally also a few carcasses down here to provide some food and plenty of cattails. Right at the end of the ravine, under the broken bridge above, you'll find a wood bin. I'll just warn you that firstly, the rope needs to be deployed. The area where the climb starts from is the roaming area of Mr. Bear. It is a long climb with pretty much no shelter below, so it is a bit of a risky place, but there is some good loot to get down there. Last of all, you have a chance of finding a bow and or arrows on one of these corpses. These can be in different spots. Again, look out for circling birds. For example, this one is slightly a bit off the train tracks before you reach the locomotive engine part, and you can also potentially find one on a corpse nearby the hunting lodge. Natural resources. Broken Railroad also has some valuable natural resources. You will be able to find the following: rose hips, reishi mushrooms, old beard lichen, cattails, birch and maple saplings, burdock, and acorns. However, you will not be finding any birch bark. Wildlife. Broken Railroad has a high concentration of wildlife, especially for being a small region. But you will find rabbits, ptarmigan, deer, wolves, timberwolves, a bear, and a moose. Luckily, there is no cougar in Broken Railroad. Let's go over the spawn locations for moose, bears, wolves, and timberwolves in Broken Railroad. Moose. There are two spots a moose can spawn potentially. One is on the small frozen lake outside the hunting lodge, and number 2 is in the foresty area between the maintenance yard and the bridge heading up to the lodge. Bears. There is one bear cave in Broken Railroad located below the hunting lodge plateau near the rope climb that comes down from there. He roams all around this forestry area and across around the frozen lake. Wolves. Wolves are rather abundant here. You'll find them along the train tracks, around the maintenance yard, on the frozen lake and surrounding foresty areas, up around the hunting lodge, and even along this isolated path. Timberwolves. Since the global wildlife refresh in December 2024, timberwolves now have a chance to spawn in Broken Railroad. The only spot you may potentially find them is up at the hunting lodge around the small frozen lake. Vista points and Polaroids. Broken Railroad does not have Polaroids or a Vista point. Memento caches. Mementos are a collectible which you can find throughout Great Bear. They lead you to either a hidden cache with some loot, or they hint at a landmark or transition zone. The way it works is you first need to find a note which correlates to a certain cache. You won't be able to access these caches without having found the note first, and sometimes they come with a key as well. Broken Railroad has 2 memento caches and 1 memento hint. Cache 1. Found inside this truck outside the hunting lodge, you'll find a note and key in the visor. This will lead you to a lockbox found along the path from the rickety footbridge to the rope climb. It can be hard to spot, but if you stick more to the left wall, you should see it. First, you can only access this path from up near the hunting lodge, as there is no rope by default. The lockbox provides cured birch saplings.
What have we here?
Just a note that if you do not have the rope deployed, you can go down from here on the left side. Cache 2. Found inside this truck outside at the maintenance yard, the one under the small little shed, you'll find a note and key in the visor. This will lead you actually to the bear cave, so be very careful when you're getting this cache. You can find a revolver, ammo, and a Mackinac jacket. Please note this is not available on Interloper. Memento hint. In the little guardhouse at the maintenance yard, you'll find a note on the wall which will hint you to the ravine under the bridge, which I talk about in the loot section. DLC content. Just very quickly to go over some things that are relevant if you have the Tales from the Far Territory DLC. First of all, the Cougar. There is no Cougar in Broken Railroad, so good news because it's rather small. Trader's Radio. There is a trader's radio located in Broken Railroad at the maintenance shed, here in this little outside office. Breyerhouse Pie Recipe. This recipe can be found inside the hunting lodge, for example, upstairs, on the ground, or nearby the stove. Routes of exploration. When entering Broken Railroad, which will most likely be from Forlorn Muskeg, unless of course you have spawned here specifically, or you've been to the Far Territories before and started off there, the train tracks are an easy landmark to follow. However, you will come to this landslide where you'll need to make a little detour. After the little detour, you can continue to follow the train tracks and eventually there'll be a path to your right which leads down to the maintenance yard. It's quite hard to miss. All the rope climbs in the region do not provide a rope by default, so at first you'll need to navigate without them. To get to the hunting lodge from the maintenance yard, head out towards the frozen lake. Take a bit of a ride along the lake until you see a bridge. Across the bridge there'll be a closed gate which you can open, go through, and continue to follow the path up to the hunting lodge area. To get to the path that takes you to the rickety footbridge and one of the Memento caches, from the hunting lodge, go across the small frozen lake into the foresty area. Then you will come across a cave and some fallen trees. Head under this fallen tree here and continue to follow the path. You can't really get lost from that point onwards. So hopefully I've covered the information you need to help you get a bit more familiar with Broken Railroad and to help you navigate it. I hope you find it's useful. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.